and a warm welcome to all of you, and happy World Poetry Day. Today is a very special day. Um, we are recording this event so that it can be shared with colleagues and poetry lovers who could not be with us today. So my name is Daniela Milic. I'm a United Nations staff member for the past 25 years and a poet for much longer than that, but that's a story for another day. When we think of poetry, I mean, poetry is a cherished cornerstone of human expression. It really connects us across cultures, across languages, and across time. So poetry has been a part of human culture for thousands of years, with the oldest known poem, as we know it, the Epic of Gilgamesh, which dates back to around 2100 BC. It is a Mesopotamian odyssey written in language tablets that were discovered in the I don't know what century that is now. I think they were discovered in 19th century, if my memory serves me well. So think of tablets, not those things that we call today, but something like that predates many writing utensils that we have been using over the recent history. So indeed, throughout history, poetry has served us as a beacon of inspiration. It offered a solace, insight, and profound reflection on human experience. So in the spirit of this occasion, I'm thrilled to welcome you to our World Poetry Day event. Please in the chat, if you'd like, let us know where are you joining us from today. I always like to see that even after all these years in the UN, it's incredibly inspiring to see people joining from all meridians. So before we delve into the world of verse, I'm excited to share with you that we will have two important announcements. I'll save those for the later towards the end of the event. So stay tuned for that. Those are special moments that promise to add even more magic to our celebration of the World Poetry Day. Also, yesterday, March 20th, was the first day of spring in the Northern Hemisphere, and it was also the French language day. So we will have one poem in French also to make that occasion. So allow me also to introduce my co-host for today. Her name is Ao Kong. She is a fellow UN colleague. She's an incredibly talented and versatile individual and also a poetry lover. Together, we will take turns in inviting our talented colleagues from across the UN system to read their poems, poems that they've chosen. We don't even know what they're going to read, so we're also very excited to see what they have chosen for us today. So let us unite in the joy of verse as we celebrate the boundless wonder of poetry together. So over to you, Al.
Hi, colleagues. Little bit glitch on my computer, so I signed in from my phone first. Nice to meet you, everyone. My name is A.O. Com, and thanks to Daniela's organization today, and I feel incredible privilege to join all of you to celebrate this moment. I originally came from China, and as you may know, we were a ancient country filled with poetry as well. I grew up at 2-3 years old when I first learning Chinese language, start learning ancient poetry from, I think the first poem probably came from China 5,000 years ago, describing everyday life that was incredibly mesmerizing and bring you to a time where there was pure humanity and filled with emotions. I especially feel our work in the UN system, it could be challenging and very logical sometimes. For that, we need to balance with our spirituality and the way we connect to our higher self. So I feel this is a place where we can all contribute that energy to connect. Without further ado, I pass the stage back to Daniela, and we'll start the reading right now.
Thank you very much, Eo. That was really beautiful reminder of how long poetry has been around with us. So we have a lineup of readers, and I'm just gonna. I see many faces here, but in case somebody's not here, we'll just adjust. So Eo, do you want to start introducing the first one?
Danielle, I will let you do so because I'm still restarting my computer.
You're still restarting. Oh, okay, absolutely. No problem at all. We'll go on. So the first one here I have on my list is Zuzana Verbova. Zuzana, are you here with us?
Yes, I am. Hello,
Over to
Daniela.
you.
Hello, Elle. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, colleagues. Allow me to start with thanking Daniela and Elle for organizing this wonderful event to celebrate the World Poetry Day. It's wonderful and amazing that we are bringing more attention to poetry because I find it very fulfilling and very enriching. And also to be able to read everybody else's poems. I mean, it's just a really amazing thing to do. So my name is Zuzana Verbova, and I work at the EOSG office at the Secretariat, New York. And today I have decided to share with you guys and read a poem that I actually have composed or wrote to my daughter, and it's called Little Girl. Hello, little girl, standing next to me. You are growing every day, and your mama wants you to know that she sees. She sees all the beauty and the wit that you possess, and the big heart filled with feelings, which shows how much you cares. Even though you are only a little girl standing next to me, I know that one day you will make great things happen if I would not be here to see. Hello there, little girl standing next to me. Mama wants you to know that she loves you and you will always be part of me. My heart is filled with love for you that I hope you can feel. Until my last breath on this earth, I will try to heal. Heal what is supposed to be healed and give you the strength to accomplish the rest. Or you growing little girl and becoming the greatest. Your mama loves you, little girl, that she wants you to know every day of your life as you continue to grow. I'm thankful, little girl, for all you have given me. I'm thankful, little girl, for all that you have taught me to see. Even day, oh, every day I'm growing with you as life unfolds ahead. It is our journey, my love, to be continued and lived without a regret. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Susanna. And this was a very beautiful introduction of our Southie collection. Actually, I'd never met Susanna in person, and I haven't even met her in on screen. The first thing that I knew about her was this poem about little girl, and I thought about all the little girls' daughters and sisters and all the little women, young women that this could be very inspiring to. So thank you so very much for sharing that. And for those of you who may not know, during the pandemic, it was a very difficult time, and I sort of had this vision of connecting mental health and poetry, because that was my way of finding solace and healing, and sent a call out for poetry submissions, and that resulted in 100 poems in 2 volumes over a 3-year period that connected people from all over the world in joys and in sorrows and in hopes and in dreams. And this community is pretty much, most of the people you will see here is that community that's been growing and thriving and translating our togetherness through verse and through poetry to other projects and programs that we've been working on. And it's incredible, the bond that has forged. So the next person, it gives me a great pleasure to introduce another one of these amazing people, and her name is Nancy Macharia. And over to you, Nancy, to read us your poem.
Thank you very much. It's such a privilege to be here, and I have to say, I'm sitting in the UK. I submitted my first poem when I was sitting in Vienna with the IAEA, and I am from Kenya. So the word Sauti has deep meaning for me, and when it was chosen, something resonated in my soul. Sauti means voice, and to have a voice and to be able to share that voice, I think is incredibly, it's a privilege. So I'm grateful to be here. My poem is called Alone. And the reason I wrote this poem is that very often we are alone. We are our greatest companion on this life's journey. Your greatest companion will always be yourself. Alone. Alone in the company of self. Content to be conversing, listening, responding, as thoughts float, allowing them linger, some bloom as fragrance, others gently pass by, as though only here to say hi. Conundrum unravels, ideas flow, some for the incubator, others for savoring now as a luxurious treat for being alone.
Thank you very much, Nancy. That was beautiful. And yes, a little bit about the name. When we were thinking about how to name this collection, I searched for a word that inspired. And in United Nations system, we have this ERP system called Umoja. And I remember first time I met that word, I didn't know what it meant. So of course, we're using Umoja, meaning unity, as our everyday operations. And I thought, oh, what would be great to find a Saudi word that gives voices, not just to technology, which is important, but also to each one of us, and particularly during the pandemic, where many voices were silenced and many people felt that they were unseen. And that's one of the comments we most often got, that they appreciated being seen and being heard. And we sometimes undermine and underestimate that power of dear colleague, wherever you are. We see you, we hear you, and it's a very vulnerable act to share something so personal like a poem. So very much a huge thank you to everybody who put their hands up today to read the poem. The next one I have is Sharif Okasha. Sharif, my partner in crime. Are you here? Yes, you are. I see you.
Yes.
Over to you. Over
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. First, I would like to thank you, everyone present here, the great poets and poetesses of the UN, and to thank Daniela for organizing this magnanimous event. And I'd like to thank all of you who have contributed to initiating the first poetry club in the UN for poets. And it is my honor to be the secretary of the club, and Daniela will be the president, of course. I was very happy to have worked with her on formulating the fundamentals of this great initiative, and we hope to meet with you soon to discuss the schedule of activities we are going to organize, because there are many things really we wanted to do more than just reading poetry. We have a lot to share with you. I will be brief. I'll just read today two poems from my collection titled Oriental Ballads. This is the first one is so two short poems. The first one is Oriental Chat. It is on the occasion of Ramadan, because now we are in the Muslim month of Ramadan, and this poem was inspired by a chat with a dear friend in Ramadan and in a long time ago, and it runs like this: before the blessed month comes to an end, I wish to cyber meet you, my sweet friend, that we may have a royal cyber dinner, and like birds of a feather, shoot the breeze together, and brave the midnight wind. For if the blessed month comes to an end, its moon will no longer reflect your glitter on my barren land. The second one is the onward flight. As days go by and death stares us in the eye, there are few other dooms but to go to the tomb, to rest, to die. Just like my love is shunning my eye and leaving me in the dark of night to howl and cry, and bid her once gallant knight leave my place in the sky of her grace, that my love may again shine bright, and the soul forsakes its dreary fight before death stares me in the eye, before I go to the tomb to perish and die. That's all for today.
Thank you so much, Sharif. And yes, I was saving the big news about the poetry club for later, but thank you for sharing it. It's great. I know it's been exciting, and we want to be on pins and needles to share that. But I will say a little bit more about that. But the club is open to all of the
Sorry
colleagues.
for shattering the surprise.
No, not at all. I cannot think of a better person to share the news. Actually, I will tell you a little story. Sharif was the one bugging me about it. How about we have a club? I'm like, I have too many things to do. I cannot do that. Well, I can. Then he said the magic word. I'm right by your side. We can do this together, and we'll invite other people. We already have about 20 people who join in, and we don't even have a paperwork how to join yet. So we're figuring it out. Poets are very good in creativity and not very good in administration, I'm finding out. So anybody who wishes to come and help us out with that. But the idea is really to nurture this art of poetry and emphasize really the connection, the
I just have
incredible
a
bonds that
very
this is
brief
creating.
comment I would like to share with all the group. By the way, I had a very informative discussion about poetry before initiating this club with Daniela, and I really learned a lot from her. She has an extraordinary vision about poetry. Is that poetry is in everything, in all kinds of art. It's not just in the poetry we have, the kind of poetry you are reading now. This is an amazing, actually, vision, and I'm sure that if we bring this vision to the club, it will be mainstreamed, not just to the poetry thing we are doing now, but also to many other artistic and literary activities we can propose for later. So I really appreciate her vision and thank her so much. And going forward, I'm sure that we will do, and of course with you, we'll do great work. Thank you so much. Thank you, Daniela,
Sharif.
so much. Really.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. I'm just a sleeve that helps people go through and share their beauty. I'm every day inspired by incredible talent of my colleagues everywhere, not just in their professions and what we do for a paycheck, so to speak, but what kind of people we are. Because if it comes from the heart, then it cannot be but good. That's sort of something that I've always learned. So thank you very much for that. And the United Nations has its first poetry book. If somebody told me that 20 years ago that I'll have the guts to even dream it, I'll be like, I would not have believed it. But when you get people around you, and it takes a village to write a book, as they say, and it certainly took so many people from across the UN system wide. That's actually so inspiring that I feel like nothing is insurmountable. So let me move on to the next person who we have. Gloria Momo is next on my list. Gloria, are you with us?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Over to you.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, colleagues. Joining from New York, where I work with UNICEF. The title of my poem is What Can I Be? What Can I Be? It's a poem I wrote on the 14th of March at 10:30 p.m. I am a man with a womb. The man calls me a woman because it is said I was taken from him. I am a woman. I cannot inherit properties. I am a woman, but I cannot go to school. I am a woman. I cannot own assets. I am a woman. My father did not write me into his will. I am a woman. I cannot speak in public. I am a woman. I make up a large percentage of those who attend religious ceremonies, but I cannot speak at those events. I am a woman. I cannot be a CEO. I am a woman. I cannot be a president. I am a woman, and I can be what? I wrote these in honor of women who are still struggling all over the world to achieve their dreams and are facing barriers. We can still be who we want to be in this generation. Thank you.
Thank you, Gloria. That was so powerful and a great illustration of how poetry can be used so effectively for important social messages and social causes. So thank you very much for sharing that. Let us take a little pause. I have a little slide up for you, and bear with me if I can see if I can share this with you. So you can get your phones ready. I think that's probably the easiest way. But let's see. And if somebody can tell me whether you can see it. Are you able to see the Slido?
Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
It's coming? Okay, so I think the easiest thing, you can scan this QR code, or you can go to slido.com, and the code is 1469193. And the question is in one word: what does poetry mean to you? I'll give it a minute or two. I'm going to do it with you guys as well. Oh, we have nourishment, rhythm, expression, therapy, healing, sharing, a Slido code, experience, truth, life, soul expression. Well, that's 2 words, but that certainly counts. Let's see what I'm knowing, memory, growing, soul expression, like that's coming up. Southie is coming up. I guess the words are getting bigger when more people chose them. Higher self, sunshine. Oh, that's beautiful. Therapy, liberating. Oh, that's an interesting one. Diversity. That certainly features in our community. Okay, like another couple of seconds. I see 2 more people are typing in, and then let's close this. Oxygen. Wow, that's certainly, there are days when it feels that that's the only oxygen I can seem to find. Right. Well, we'll keep this open in the background if anybody wishes to still continue. But okay, let's stop sharing. So thank you very much for participating. It's a good way to see that you don't need to be a poet to actually, appreciate poetry, right? You don't even need to appreciate poetry in itself to have the poetic expression and to see poetry in the wider sense. There are a lot of people who actually have poetic expression in the way they write or in the way they express themselves, and they will never think of themselves as being poets, right? But they have this way of just sort of using the words and the creativity, because what poetry does is poetry is very liberating. Is that was one of the words that came up. I mean, of course, there are many forms and many styles of poetry, but in a sense, it gives you this playfulness as somebody who wordsmiths or who is a poet. Poetry really gives you a lot of ways of following. You can even have unfinished sentences. You can make up your own words. You can have one line, one word verses. You can have, then of course you can have more formal like sonnets and haikus and different kinds of poetry that's practiced around the world. So if you have never done it, just let your imagination go. As a matter of fact, have a piece of paper right next to you now. If you have something, grab something, and as this event is going on, just jot something down. It may be a doodle, it may be a word or two. It may be, I know it's a big thing. Before I even called anything a poem, I thought poem had to be like formal and structured and rhyme and all of that thing that I didn't know how to do at the time. But then I realized poetry really is a refuge. It's a place you can go to hide, you can go to smile, you can go do anything you want, because any subject is accepted in poetry. Even silence is accepted in poetry. I tend to often do these ... unfinished sentences, because how do you actually write silence? And poetry can take that as well. So, and thank you for sharing what poetry means to you. I think that was also inspiring to see so many different choices there. So let us then pick up. Eo, are you able now to? Oh yes, I see your background. So I think you're now fully branded. Would you like to take over? Over to you, dear.
Thank you, everyone, back online. So I will introduce the next poet, Rashma Garwal. I see her online, and thank you for being with us. The stage is yours.
Thank you. And I'm joining from India with UNICEF, and I'm happy to be here and be part of this community. Thank you for the initiative. My poem that I've chosen for today is actually building on the theme that Gloria introduced, and it's about a woman who's trying to find herself, right? And it's called Space. Her space has never been hers. Am I audible? Her space has never been hers, crowded by thoughts, desires, and needs of those she loves. Over time, she has forgotten who she really is. What makes her laugh? What intrigues her? What sends a shiver down her spine? What makes her queasy and girlish all over again? Her intuition guides her. She peeks into the soul of the world to know herself and begin to love herself, so that others can love her the way she deserves to be loved. Discarding the veil of expectations laid upon her, she wants to see the world from her own eyes. She wants to immerse herself in things around her that bring a smile to her face, make her laugh freely. She wants to read more deeply, write more intensely, connect and share more fully. She wants to explore friendships, to enjoy the company of others, to discover and understand how others relate to her, understand her, care for her, and love her. But while soaking in the togetherness of their space, smell, and touch, she wants to be separate from each one of them, for she wants to cherish her existence, her space to be. And she wants this journey, at least for some time, to be about her. Thank you.
Well done. Thank you for sharing, Reshma. We had several poems been reading so far, and I remember the first impression I had while reading this collection when Daniela shared. It was last year around this time. I was very blown away by the richness of the topics. It can go from sharing, among generations with daughters and mothers to the solidarity during COVID time. And it also could be, a woman finding her voice. And it also could be birds and leaves and nature. Just the richness of a topic also shows the richness of our internal world. So it's a really good reminder from every poet that there's so many topics we can explore, and we actually connect through them all. So next one, we'll pass on to the next poet, who will be Jocelyn Portillo. Don't trust my Spanish.
That's okay. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And I'm so excited about the poetry club. So I'm looking forward to be part of that. So I'm in New York, but I'm from El Salvador, and I work for the UN Pension Fund. And this poem is about my great grandmother and my childhood memories. Is that okay if I can share a sketch of my great grandmother? So let's see.
I think you have the rights to share. Let me know if I need to do something on my end, but I think you should be able to just click and share.
Let's see. Okay. Yeah. I put it in the background of my backdrop. Okay.
Oh yeah, we see it. Yeah, great.
During Easter, my mother took us back to her childhood, to Teotepeque, to my great-grandmother's house. Shrill ancestral songs of cicadas everywhere. We got up earlier than the sun, my mother with her two girls holding hands, teaching us how to navigate the world. The bus, Route 107, full. In it, people smiling with lows from the turns of the littoral of life, pothole mountains, valleys, thick darkness through the tunnels, and a wonderful sunset along the seashore. There was no room for sorrow. the music clinging to the bass, my relief as a 5-year-old, the light at the end of the tunnel, simulation for the uncertainties of life. My grandmother's was strong like an amate tree, thin, tall, with wise hands, with healing properties like a balsamo, long gray hair in a bun held with a French sign comb, as she held her struggles with grace and beauty like a Machiliswat in April. Her deep eyes saw more than 31,000 sunsets. Her teeth, she didn't have any. The black box of her identity lost. Stories shelled like corn, scattered in all the corners of the wooden house. Dogs, cats, and ducks, joined by a gecko on the wall as the ear dropped the long talks in the humble front porch, a familiar place to gather in town. My great-grandparents danced there. The red clay dirt soil felt their rhythm, their laughter, and sometimes sadness peeked in the little spaces between the roof tiles and slits in the wall, like the shadow of the night after sunset on a Sunday evening. I lie trying to collect memories like coffee beans. There was always coffee in the pot, and underneath embers in the good fuel stove, fading out like opportunities in the darkness of not knowing how to read and write. 2023, we are in Teotepeque. My great-grandmother's house is no longer here. Like those stars hundreds of thousands of light years away that don't exist anymore, but their lights are still touching our souls at night. The 4-year-old great-great-granddaughter, with so much curiosity, arrives and slows down time as she touches with her little finger the red clay soil, reminding me that when the rain touches the clay, it feels the resilience, the freedom to turn it into many possibilities of dreams that were buried here, like the names of cicadas to continue the ancestral song. And here, looking for metaphors of our experiences and moments to rebuild in my memory my great-grandmother's house that was here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jocelyn. I think we all, maybe many of us, had experience spending with our, grandparents in our childhood, and that is a true form of unconditional love. I sometimes, when I have challenges in my life, I always go back to that time when I feel those were souls who experienced life, calm, real, and also like provide for you the energy. So God bless her, and thank you for sharing her story. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we go to the next poet. Let me get the name right. It's Michael or Michelle CMP. Let's see.
Correct, Michel Ciampi. Hey,
Oh,
hi
got it
everybody.
right.
Thank you. Or how are you? Thank you. I'm going to read a poem which is more related to what's happened yesterday because it was the spring day in the Northern Hemisphere, and also it was International Day for Francophonie. This is why I'm going to read my poem first in French and then in English. I wrote this poem because it was winter, but not this winter, because as you know, it's the climate change impacting us quite a lot. So maybe that will be just a memory in the future for future generation, how I stuff the winter and to stay long and not to leave the space and the place to the spring sometimes. So voilà. Printemps. Je me réveille dans le matin naissant. Tu es là, pourtant bien timide cette année face à un hiver envahissant. Lui aussi est là, tapis sur les montagnes, recouvrant de son manteau blanc les sommets autour de moi, guettant une faiblesse de ta part pour venir s'étendre à nouveau sur la plaine. J'aperçois les fleurs blanches et fragiles du cerisier de ma chambre, tels des êtres sans défense face à un envahisseur. rusé et sans merci. Printemps, chasse d'un souffle cet hiver pour ne faire paraître que ta robe verdoyante et pleine de couleurs sur laquelle les oiseaux viendront chanter en chœur l'espoir. Let's move to the English version now. I just need to scroll down my screen, sorry. So, spring. I wake up in the dawning morning. You are here, yet very timid this year in the face of an invasive winter. Winter too is here, lurking on the mountains, covering the peaks around me with its white cape, looking for your weak spot so it can spread out again on the plain. I see the wild and fragile cherry blossoms from the bedrooms, like defenseless, being facing a cunning and merciless invader. Spring, blow away the winter. Let appear your verdant dress full of colors on which a choir of birds will sing of hope. Thank you.
Merci, c'est très joli. Thank you for
Merci
sharing.
à toi. Thank you.
Merci. That was really beautiful. Thank you so much, and thank you, Eo, for helping a bit. I just sat back and just listened, and I can't even describe the amount of emotions and that this is taking from grandma in Honduras to a springtime in France to it's just beautiful. And some of these poems I've heard before, some are completely new, but each and every time it goes right to that main chamber of the heart, and this is just incredibly just beautiful. So thank you so much, everybody, for sharing that. I'm gonna see now the next person that I have is also a very special one. She comes all the way from India. Shalza Taneja, are you here? I saw you a little earlier. She always has these beautiful saris on her. I am just going, she's a partner. She's a poet, she's a partner in crime. She's also an amazing human being, and I just can't be more happy that you just made it with us here today. So she's a former UN colleague, and now in India doing more amazing stuff with SDGs and writing more poetry and more books. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Shalza, to read us your poem.
Thank you so much. First of all, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you, depending upon which part of the world you have joined to this platform. And a big namaste to all of you from India. And thank you, Danila. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I completely, look forward to be here. And as Danila has shared, this is my latest book, Circle for Life, which I have written, thank you, which I have written to educate and empower our children and youth on sustainable development. This is completely based on what I understood from my interaction with the children and youth in universities and colleges and in normal life, basically. And then I wrote these, poems on each and every SDG, not just to define it, but it's a call to action. And thanks to Danila for all her support and guidance and being a part of this book and the journey. So today I am going to read the poem on SDG 16, which is peace, justice, and strong institutions. And why I selected this particular poem is I truly believe that peace and justice and fairness is something that we all somewhere, need very badly in our world. And it is somewhere a kind of a desire, a very strong desire in my heart to be able to serve the community and the people who are living in these kind of conditions, and somewhere in the countries where we can see that peace is really needed. So I'm going to read this now. For peace, justice, and fairness, let's our voices amplify in a world where equality and hope unify. Let's shield every child from exploitation and violence and protect every woman living in abuse with silence. Empower the marginalized and give them their voices. With right knowledge comes right choices. Build strong institutions and strong foundation, a pride for every nation with civil society's dedication. Let love, peace, and compassion be our anchor inside. In unity and harmony, let us all reside. Inclusion, solidarity, and collective actions are right way. With legal identity, allow everyone to respectfully stay. Strengthen nations, combat terrorism, crime. It's a call to action and our duty prime. Combat criminal networks, stem illicit flow. By stopping all this, each life will happily grow. From war-torn countries to a peaceful shores, harmony, peace, and justice to be restored. Take a lead to unite hearts and break walls, end violence, reduce corruption to be followed by all. Let people be resilient, filled with compassion, healing the world through dialogue and passion. With engagement, they may pursue a dream of peace and just world will come true. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. Over to you, Daniela.
Thank you very much, Elsa. And what a beautiful way of promoting the work that we do, because SDGs cover all of our work, and what a nice way of making it more approachable to people. So feel free to drop a link to the book.
Yes,
this is not
definitely.
promotion, but it is promotion because women don't do that enough, and we are here to help and support one another. So it was my privilege to just blow a little wind into this project and to make sure that people who deserve to be out there and shine actually do get a chance to shine. And sometimes it takes just a little middle of the night messages on WhatsApp. Yes, you can do it. I believe in you. There's one person who's going to buy your book. And sometimes I feel that's actually what got me through many things. And I have written a book for children on SDGs about 15 years ago, and I never really shared it with anyone because it was just sort of my way of kind of making it approachable to a 7-year-old. But you have now inspired me to maybe dig it up and do that. And this is a call to all of you who have written anything in your life that you put somewhere in your diary or in the back of a notebook or a back of a boarding card or wherever it is that we write when we have that urge, is go revisit it, because those words are maybe silly at the time, or maybe too painful, or maybe whatever, maybe don't have an explanation, but go, we do leave little pearls of little nuggets of inspiration around. So sometimes we owe it to our inner child, to our younger selves as well, to go and revisit some of these steps and make a collection. And who knows where we may end up. So once again, Shalza, thank you so very much. And you look beautiful in your sari.
Thank you. And
You
words,
always do.
we all believe that words have immense power, to make or
They sure
break the
do.
world. So with that feeling and with that kind of calling within myself, I really wanted to put uh, a message through meaningful words, and the right choices of words is very important. So I strongly feel that somewhere these messages will fill somebody's life with a new hope, and somewhere somebody may get the answer of their prayers to find a new way. So poetry is not just a kind of a beautifying something as a word aligned in a very rhymic kind of a way, but it has a deeper impact on people's heart, on their minds and their lives. So thank you.
So true. So true. Thank you so much. And the word hope, I'm just going to hang on to that one in a moment. Thank you so much once again. The next I have on my list is Maria Julvin de Guzman from ANSOS. Maria, it's over to you now. You just need to unmute yourself.
Sorry, Daniela. Okay. Good afternoon to everyone. My name is Maria Julian de Guzman. I'm part of the service management team, field technology section. Since you all know that we've been supporting United Nations Support Office in Somalia and being part of the poets within the entire UN family, because it's my pleasure to be expressing myself in terms of poem. And I wrote this poem of mine, although I got curious with one of the poem wrote by someone else. But this poem of mine, I wrote it during the time of pandemic, where everyone is panicking about how to take care of your mental health at the same time your health per se. So the title of my poem is Healthy Lifestyle, wherein every letter of this word it connotates. So this is my poem. Healthy lifestyle. Here I am telling you to think deep, eat well, and sleep early. All of us should be healthy. Loving our entire body is looking wealthy. Though sometimes stress may come, health might have an issue due to worrisome. You may neglect, but please never wait. Life is so short before it's too late. I'm not the right person to remind everyone. Friendly mnemonic that sickness will not exempt anyone. Empathizing and spreading awareness should continue. Start being conscious and fast response will become our virtue. Think and live a healthy lifestyle. Yield the health information. Leverage our action. Ending disease is our mitigation and notion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Maria. That was beautiful. And you can find Maria's poem on page 59 of the first Sauti books. I challenge you to go find it, because the first book also comes with beautiful illustrations on accompanying each poem, which our wonderful Ezra has created for us. So I definitely encourage you to go read it yourself as well. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for that. And speaking about women in STEM and women in difficult duty stations and just women that inspire us each and every day. So Maria, my heart goes out to you for everything you do for making this world a little bit better through your day job and through your poetry as well. Thank you so very much. Now it gives me a great pleasure to introduce another rock star woman. Her name is Sonja Kirchner. I hope I'm saying this properly. So Sonja is a coach. Sonja is a person who answered the call for poetry and really loved her poem. And then we were looking to put the index page and which duty station and organization people were coming from. Well, Sonja wasn't from the UN. And we're like, oh, what do we do now? We didn't have that in the guidelines, which were one line long. And we just said, like, okay, there was no rules. We were making up rules as we went along. So we just decided to embrace Sonja, as we do in the UN. We embrace everything and everybody, especially the people bearing gifts and bearing peace and love. So Sonja, it gives me just absolutely great pleasure. It's the first time you're able to join one of our poetry circles. So this is just an incredible honor to have you among us. And over to you to read us your poem. And over to you.
Thank you, Daniela. I just feel as honored as you do. Thank you so much for including me and for opening this up to me. It was a savior for me personally during the pandemic. This is when I started writing poetry. This is when we met. Daniela and me, of course, have not, of course, because you were in New York at that time, right? But we have never met in person. But I feel so connected to you and to this group through poetry. And I think poetry connects me to the world. And I'm really honored to be here. So thank you so much for making this possible. I really appreciate that. And I never wrote poetry. And during the pandemic, it just popped up. There were words around me. And I felt like I had to just grasp them and put them on paper. And this is how this little series, it's a series of 5 love letter blurbs to New York evolved. They really came to me. I just had to write them down. So this is New York is my poem. 1. There was nothing to learn for me to love you. Love was there from the moment we drank coffee underneath your cast iron ceiling, strong and from the bottom of our mugs. 2. But is it? Unlearning love is not a thing. How could we forget the ice cubes in your hoods when your city lights turn into bouquet and your comforting subway smell? 3. How many have been buried with the few of you? Almost none. In your earthy, cemented core, where no mass was held, but masses warm each other at the final stop underneath the lawns that are richer than your center park. 4. We cannot spend time with the healthy but dead busts we cannot fathom. We can idle and see what's yet to come. But you always come back to yes, we can, and we dare to love you. 5. Here in your urban canyons we are, human, crawling out of the bubble and into the empty blue sky. We plunge, we fear, we love. You hold us strong.
Thank you, Sonia. Thank you so very much for that. And thank you for for just answering this call from this stranger who you didn't know. It's just, I think Yannick put it very nicely. It's, poetry has no barriers. I think I could not have said it better. Yannick, thank you so very much. It's about inclusion in the end of the day, and coming as you are, as long as you come in peace, we'll pull up a chair and make room for everybody. So thank you for helping us spread the important work that the United Nations does. Sometimes we could use a little bit of PR out there, especially in these difficult times when many of our colleagues are really, really going through rough time. And as an organization, we're going through a bit of challenging times. When there wasn't the case, I guess somebody would say, but I feel particularly now we can use a little bit of external, internal love. So thank you very much. And Sonia is also a wonderful coach who I follow now for her incredible work. So Sonia, if you want to drop anything in the chat, feel free to do
My
that.
LinkedIn, I will drop my LinkedIn for sure. Thank you
Please.
so much. It means the world to be connected to you, and I'm really honored. Thank you.
Thank you so much. If you don't mind us, bugging you, then please do share. Whatever you share is for us here. So thank you. And now I'm gonna turn over to a very special place, to a very special person who is all the way in Bangladesh. And his name is Firoz Alam. And Firoz, there are days when he just drops a poem in my inbox, and I'm having a very stressful and a difficult day running from one stressful situation to another, and lo and behold, there's a little poem without asking for anything, just like, here, I thought you might like it. And that just brings the sunshine to my face. So Firoz, I'm so deeply honored that you're here with us today, and over to you to read us your poem.
Thank you very much, Daniela. Thank you. My name is Firoz Alam. I am working with UNICEF in a field office called Mymensingh to attend today in this, I will say, among this poet. I traveled 100 kilometers. I could attend in the road, but no, I said that no, I'll attend at my house. So I was just rushing. And I'm so happy that this poetry has, introduced me with so many good souls. This is the power of the poetry. I see such a good faces here. Basically, I write in Bangla. I am not very good in English. And like you all, the pandemic has, the COVID-19 has really given me this shape. I was writing little in my childhood, then I just, stopped it. But during the COVID, I found that, oh, I can write. I got that my childhood feelings of the poetry is popping up. So that time I started writing. One of the poem, I felt that it is not that good. So I sent it to Daniela. It was I Am the Forest. And she appreciated it so much that I felt encouraged. And I found that this poem has, got kind of wider publicity. I did the search in internet and I found that someone from Australia with the copyright of UN is reciting it and discussing it. He has many followers. So I found that it is spreading. So then I felt again very encouraged. And during the COVID period, I wrote 4 books of poems, 4 books. And what I decided that I will not, bring, kind of frustration, kind of, sadness in my poetry, because that time people is already, in panic, fear. So let's bring some hope, courage, that kind of thing. So I wrote I am the forest, you cannot destroy me. So today I'll recite one of my poem that is also like that type of poem. It was in Bangla, so I translated it in English. My English will not be that good, So that is I will not die. You cannot kill me. So I am reading. Before my birth, I was invisible in this earth, but I was very much here. I was with the leaves of the grass, a drop of dew hanging. I was in the beak of the bird while she was singing. I was invisible fragrance mixed with everything. I condensed myself from the cosmic body, what you call the birth. Even before that, I was very much here on this earth. One day I will again drop this body and take my original form. I'll be again the part of the part you cannot see and feel, but I'll be living here very much still. I was not born, hence I will not die. I will not say hello, I will not say bye. I am just formless and take the form. Like the air you don't see unless it's a storm. You see the storm, not the air. I am the smell of the air. I was not born, hence I will not die. I will not say hello, I will not say goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Viraj. Thank you. That was beautiful. And please, I agree with everything you said except for one word, that you're not good in English. You're good in anything you do because your heart speaks. So we can help. We have colleagues around that can help with editing and with anything that we need to make a sound. But it's very difficult to write in a foreign language. And this is why Sauti and all the things that I've been organizing, we welcome your native language, not just the official 6, but the native language in which you write, and of course accompanied by a translation in English so that others can read it. But I think poetry is one of those things we go home to, and our mother tongue is always the place where we could do that in a most appropriate way. But whatever language you write, it's the emotion and the connection. So thank you so very much. And now I'm gonna go to Eo. I introduced her as a co-host, but actually she also wrote a poem and she's been writing poems. So I'm gonna ask you if you'd like to read also your poem. And I know I'm putting you on the spot now, but that's what I do. Forgive me.
No, it's wonderful. I think Daniela also know me as stand-up comedian on the side. So love to be funny. So there's a little bit background of this poem. I was just seconded from New York to Istanbul at the time during COVID. I didn't know the language. I didn't know anyone. And there was COVID outbreak in the office. So we're all locked down in our own little apartment. So it was a quite challenging time. And at the time, I just thought, I read this book called Seagull Jonathan, Dr. Jonathan. I don't know if you heard of it. It's about a curious seagull who's trying to find the meaning of his life. And as you may know, there are a lot of seagulls in in Istanbul, and there was a particular one coming to my window every day at noontime asking for food. So that seagull became my only friend who visited frequently until Valentine's Day. It disappeared. So I had a whole conspiracy theory of the seagull start dating someone else other than me and having babies, right? So I thought, okay, I cannot be jealous. I need to send my best wishes to this, promiscuous seagull and to his family. So, but this is also a poetry for all the nomads, like all of us, because it was about nomadic life that the seagull had and I had and all of us have. So here comes the poem. A sonata of two nomads, to baby seagull Jonathan Jr. On the gloomy winter morning Istanbul, apple cinnamon tea slowly brewing on the stove, ocean wind flapping on my kitchen window, winter blues burning mildly in my chest. Poof, a big snowy figure, not Thor in exile from Asgard, or Catwoman cruising by. It's Jonathan Levington, the proud and curious seagull. He and I, for a forever moment, staring at each other, purely in awe. The morning grew, as did the unexpected romance at every noon. While I prepared his lunch, nuts of sorts, he brought the magic kisses of the morning dew. We shared small talks about the weather, occasionally about the pranks life play on us, and the 1001 nights of stories from the Bosporus. Then, on the Valentine's Day, Jonathan didn't show up. I guess he preferred red more than the Sauvignon Blanc I prepared. Yes, I was happy and wished him a romantic date with his new girlfriend. I hope they could share bites of sea breams gliding through the last winter drizzle. And I hope they share secret laughter hovering above evening prayers from the mosque. And maybe soon we would welcome baby Jonathan Jr. And I want to write this poem for his lullaby. It is a story about anticipating an unexpected visitor, and it's about a whispering sonata that forever warmed up winter mornings for two nomads, one on land and one in the sky. Thank you.
Wow, that's beautiful. I don't know. I have tears in my eyes and I'm laughing. So I don't know. You have this way of doing this to people. Thank you so much.
I could
And this
feel
was
it. I could feel it. I could feel it.
What?
I'm also like,
Oh, thank you. I am I'm very touched by all of you as well and all the nomads. That's one common feature we all have.
I think the middle name Nomad is fitting to many of us on this call and beyond. So, and this book, Jonathan Livingston Seagull was obligatory literature when I was growing up in former Yugoslavia, and I always felt like he was a real person because he had the name Jonathan, which I've never come across before until I came to the US. So to me, the seagull was actually a person, like an entity. So now that you gave it this whole story, it's just beautiful. And there's one a quote from that book that I think I have in my office even. It says, "Look with your understanding, find out what you already know, and you'll see the way to fly." So if you ever get discouraged, I encourage you to read this quote because it's a very, very powerful one. You look what you know, because we tend to look at what we don't know and what more do we need, but we forget to go home and find out that what we really need is already in us. So that was just really, really fitting. So that comes up with the list of people we had. I know we're running a little bit of overtime, but I did promise I always promise that I will read a poem and not leave everybody else to open their hearts and then not share in. So I'll find out. I never know who wants to come up to play, so I'll open a random one and see what poem I can read for you guys. Bear with me 1 second. Okay, so I'll read this one. It's called Embrace. And it was written in New York City in front of the Metropolitan Opera, where I spend quite a lot of my time. I'm a big opera lover, and there's a big pond there, a reflective pool, and I was looking at the water and thinking about the power of water in all its shapes, whether it's a sea, whether it's a tear. It's called Embrace. A breath, a beat, a wave. No next moment could be more fulfilling than this one. Here and now. I'm alive. Vast as open sea, my love flows. My heart dreams of spring. The sea and mountains embrace, for they are one. In the depths of my soul lies the knowledge of the beyond. In the knowledge, I'm expanding and opening myself to something greater. I embrace the unknown and my life's purpose. In servitio artium. In the dream, I'm exploring. In the flight, I'm grounding. In the arts, I am. While loving, I'm alive. Trusting my intuition, for in it lies the navigation I seek. Gates open. I am alive. The power of blue. Such is the power of love. While loving, I'm alive. I paused and reflected. I soul searched and shed some excess skin and material goods. I explored my innermost self and turned a few more scars into stars, rewriting the narrative. Death is not the end, for there is no end. Infinity. We're taught to be afraid of death, while in reality we are afraid of dying. Death is but a journey of an immortal soul. Life is a circle widening. Life, like a stone thrown into water, disappears in a blink, but creates countless ripples to infinity. Life begins anew. In servitio artium. Thank you. And the few Latin words there means in the service of the arts. And that's how I see myself. Besides being an international civil servant, I feel myself being really in the service of the arts in all its forms. And poetry just being sort of the one I practice the most, but other forms of arts also give me a lot of inspiration. So I know I kept you guys way longer than what we scheduled. So I just want to thank each and every one of you. We promised you two events, two big announcements. So just to reiterate what Sharif said, we now have a UN Poets Club. We actually call it Poets Club rather than Poetry Club because we want to put the human first and poetry as our offspring, so to speak. So we already have a suggestion from a lovely Marionette who is already trying to help us out with the Google Forms to see how we can actually send this out for you to formally join. So just bear with us while we have to do this formally with the Constitution and be accepted under UN Staff Recreational Council. So we're actually, a bona fide club with all its rights and privileges that carries. So stay tuned for that. We will send the information out and put it on all other sort of Yammer groups and all of these things, wherever we can reach you guys. We also have a Saudi community on LinkedIn. I will pop a link in here. So if you want to become a member of the club, you're most welcome to. We're open to people outside of the duty station. I know some events are going to be in person. So if you're in New York, you're welcome. But we also want to try to be able to use the technology and connect across the meridians because that's just also very beautiful. So wherever you are, you also feel free to join if you like. And the other big news is that we're launching a new call for poetry. And I was trying to pop it in the chat, but it doesn't work. So I'll share it with you in a little bit. And the theme this time, and that's I'm hanging on to the red thread that Shalza threw my way. The theme this time is going to be hope. Feel the world could use a little bit of hope. So that's going to be your theme for submission. Feel free to submit one poem, please, one per person, so that we can accommodate as many as wish to submit. Guidelines are going to be again very, very short. Any style, any form, anything. Basically, as long as it's yours and as long as it's in a language we can understand, accompanying your native language if you prefer to write in that language. We just need to have both. And the email addresses where to submit, will be shared there. The deadline will be 31 May to give a little bit more time, and then we'll figure out what to do with it because I really have I sort of have a vision, but let's see how it morphs and what it becomes. I think we have about 12 languages in the two first Saudi compilations. So this is a call also for other languages that we haven't had represented yet, if you wish to write in that. And I will actually, perhaps I could share it on the screen. Let me see if I can manage that. If not, see, again, technology is not always my friend, or I'm not its friend, I suppose. Let me see. Where did it go? Am I sharing the screen? I guess I'm not. Okay, let me try again. Are you seeing anything now?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, let me just give it a minute. Okay, I think I'm gonna give it another second, and if I mess up again, I'll screen. Has it come up?
Yes, we see it now.
Okay, this is sort of I will share this with everybody, but it's basically just basically what I said. What the topic being hope, the deadline being 31 May, and the email addresses of myself and Sharif there. And of course, we need also your permission when you submit a poem that you would like it to be shared, because we probably will hopefully have another compilation or something really great and grand coming out of this call. So I'll stop sharing here. So get back here. Stop sharing. All right, so that's all the big news. Happy World Poetry Day once again. Thank you for making this day extra special. I'm actually on annual leave in Panama right now. I should be at the beach, but I'm actually super excited to be here with all of you and sending you a lot of love from this great land, a little Latino flavors, because people of this country are just so warm and incredibly amazing. So thank you very much also to my co-hosts who did a brilliant job despite some technical challenges at the beginning. Thank you to each person who has read. Thank you to all the audience who patiently listened and who send us so much love and care in your comments. We will have your email addresses, so we'll share the recording for those of you who left a bit earlier, and also you can share it with anyone you wish. And please keep well, do well, and take good care of yourselves. Happy World Poetry Day.
Thank you. Thank you once again, Daniela. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Happy day, everybody.
Bye.